here we go. So we are thinking about line plots. And according to Math in Focus and according to the Common Core standards, everybody has seen line plots before. So this is just going to be a quick refresher portion where we take some data and put it into a line plot. So at our house, Bean is trying out new dog foods this week, actually over a little period of time here, not just 1 week. And Bean has tried a serving size of a variety of dog foods. And the first thing that I am going to do is I'm going to take all of the information about Bean's servings of dog food and I'm going to make it into a line plot. And I started this without you, and I'm sorry that I did, because in some ways it's helpful to see like what I was thinking. So, but I am going to talk through what I was thinking. So the first thing, when you get a blank number line, which most of the time you will when you're asked to make a line plot, you think about what is the smallest number that you're dealing with. In my case, it's going to be 1 1/8 of a serving. And what is the largest number that you're dealing with? And I have a 2 over here. And so when I put my number line together, I need to have the smallest number over here and the largest number over here. And then I did this. I marked 1 1/2 because that was right in the middle and I could eyeball that pretty well. And then I marked a 1/2 of a 1/2 and a 1/2 on the 1/2 on this side. And I got 1 1/4 and 1 3/4. And then I marked the halfway point of each of those. And I got 1 1/8, 1 3/8, 1 5/8, and 1 7/8. Am I going to use all those? Maybe not. But it helps me to see where things are on the number line. So when you're doing a line plot, you are making X's for things. So I go along and I say, Bean had 1 1/8 serving of yummy dog food. And I try to make my X's about the same size so that you can compare them. And then she had some really stinky dog food and she had 1 1/2 servings of that. And then she had some that was, the children said were gross. It was gross. And so the gross dog food, she had 1 5/8 of a serving. And then she had one called Delicious Bits. And Delicious Bits, she had 1 3/4 of a serving. And then she had canned stew, and she liked the canned stew so much, she had 2 times, she had 2 whole servings each time. So here's what a line plot of this data looks like. Anytime you have a repeating number, you stack X's on top of each other. And your job as the designer of the line plot is to find the smallest number and the largest number and to make it equal spaces inside of that range. And then you title your line plot, Food Servings Bean Has Eaten is my title. So that is a quick overview of constructing a line plot with some data. And then the next thing that happens is that you get questions about that data. And one of the most common questions that you get is something that asks you in some way to total up the amount in the entire line plot. So a question that would make it so that you had to total up the amount of dog food that Bean consumed, one of those kinds of questions is how much did she eat per day? And in this one, it says if Bean ate that dog food over 10 days, how much did she eat each day? So in this question, you are finding the average amount. All right, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to add up all of the numbers in your data. And there are lots of different sort of opinions about how this goes, but for me, I think it's safest if you just write all of those numbers down like one long stream of addition and don't total them up as you're going. So now I have eighths and fourths and halves. So I'm going to have to do some work to make these compatible. So one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make everything into eighths. So I'm going to multiply by 4 over 4 there and 2 over 2 here. And so now I have 1 and 1/8 plus 1 and 4/8 plus 1 and 5/8 plus 1 and 6/8 plus 2 plus 2. Okay? At this point, I'm going to take out all the whole numbers because that is easy for me to do in my head. And I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to say, but the whole numbers add up to 8. And then finally, I'm going to deal with these eighths. And I'm going to, I know it's going to be eighths. I'm going to say 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 5 is 10, plus 6 is 16. And I can write that down just like this. And that gives me 16 eighths. And then my answer is not finished because I have an improper fraction. So I have to say how many eighths are in 16. And the answer is 2. So that means this problem is really 8 plus 2, or 10. So to begin with, Bean ate 10 servings of dog food. And the question is, how much did she eat each day? So over 10 days, she had 10 servings divided by 10 days. That means she had 1 serving per day. All right, this is the kind of math that you are going to do today. You are not going to run into anything that you haven't seen before, but what you are going to run into is things that you learned in different areas all being combined together. You're going to have to do division. You're going to have to do story problem-y kind of things. You're going to have to multiply. You're going to have to add fractions. And you know how to do all of those things separately, but these problems will ask you to put those ideas together. You have math journal pages, I think it's 101 to 106 to work on. And if you need a reminder about how to add, subtract, multiply, or divide fractions, I made a video for that reminder also. Good luck with this. I'll talk to you soon.